that better? They asked me to go ahead and push a button so we could record today's seminar for the HBA. So I'm going to pass you on this clipboard. If you guys would sign your name and everything in, and they'll collect it in the back of the room. Also, there is a evaluation. If you would fill that out when the seminar is over and turn that in, make sure you put the speaker was tall, dark, and handsome. You know, that would, I may not get to see this, but I'll feel better about it. That was one of my best jokes, guys. I'm not making any better at all. So my name is Bill Walker. I am a group benefit sales manager with a company called IDShield. I've been doing identity theft studying. I've been working in the industry now for 23 years. I am a licensed private investigator and a national certified identity theft risk management specialist. So what I'm going to do over about the next 30 minutes is we're going to talk about identity theft. What is identity theft really? Not what LifeLock and all these other companies are monitoring and then they talk about on TV and radio and paying $30 million a year in advertising. That is not identity theft, folks. That is a financial, little blip in your screen. And as I'll show you here in the next couple of minutes as we start, I'm going to play about 3 different videos for you to really show you what happens when identity theft hits a person. So, anybody in the room, and Brad Rayfeld here, by the way, is my sponsor for this event with Whole McDowell Insurance. We also have signed a affinity partnership with the Home Builders Association where we will work with them and give them a little bit of revenue from any of the employers that sign up with our services. So Brad does a tremendous job at Whole Walt. I've known Brad for 3 years now, probably. So, and I worked with Whole Walt for about 15 years from the insurance. I am not from the South Dakota area. So I am from southeast Iowa, if y'all know where Iowa City is, and you go south about another 40 miles. So, but I've been in North and South Dakota since the 27th of February. So this Saturday I'll get home for, well, a week from this Saturday I'll get home for a couple hours and then head back out on the road again. I've been married for 33 years, guys. It works a lot better if you travel. So that's the key that I've learned to a happy marriage is by me staying away from home. That was, again, one of my best ones. And I just laugh at me or with me, guys, one way or the other. So anybody in the room, let's get started here. Anybody in the room think I can't steal your identity? In a couple of minutes? How long do you think it would take the average identity thief to take all of your information? 5 minutes. Dead on. What do you think it would cost me, folks? And so let's talk about identity theft, and then we're going to talk about what it's not, and then I'm going to show you some videos. When we talk about identity theft, the key to understanding it is what we call mosaic phishing. Phishing is P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, not a rod and reel. So give me your first name, ma'am.
Michelle.
Michelle. Michelle, let's talk about mosaic phishing. And I'll use you for an example if that's okay. How many random unique digits are in Michelle's life? So folks, if I want to find somebody, first off, I can watch Michelle get in her car, write down her license plate number. In a few minutes, I would have her, everything about her. It's just that simple. And I'll show you a video on how you do that. By the way, the state of South Dakota last year made $3 million selling your license information. They sell them to companies like LexisNexis, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Well, what do all of these companies do with your information? They sell them to everybody else. The state of California, and again, you can Google everything I'm telling you, the state of California made $50 million last year selling driver's license information. So, Michelle, how many random unique digits, let's start real easy. How many random unique digits do you have in your telephone number? Unique only to you, in that order. There's 10 digits on your telephone number. How many are unique to you? The last 4, right? Think about it, folks, because the first 3 tell me the state your telephone is from, right? The next 3 tell me the area code or the county with which you're in there. The last 4 unique to you. So how many then unique digits do you have to a credit card, folks? I mean totally unique digits. Or a debit card. Unique only to you.
16?
16 digits on the front of it, yes. But how many are unique?
Oh.
4? 4. Guess which 4 they are? Which 4 print out on every receipt? That everybody leaves laying around. You give me those receipts and I can immediately tell you everything about your credit card. Now, I can't get you the CVV2 number on the back, but I can get you everything else. So then how many random unique digits, folks, do you have your social security number? 4. Dead on.
And I have a great story about that. I'm not going to age myself too much. When we were talking with my parents, And my mom applied for all of our social security cards for all 8 kids at the same time, so we're all 1 digit away.
One off of each other, and that is unique. So folks, the last 4 digits are called your serial number. The first 3 digits, region of the country you're born. The next 2 break that down even more. And then of course the last 4 unique only you. So folks, how many random digits then? So again, take the known. So I only have to ping 5 digits of a social security number and eventually I can find the last 4, right? So how many random digits do y'all have to your driver's license number? 3. How many random digits, folks, do you have to insurance policies? 3. Take the known, find the unknown on anybody at any time. I can tell you by the first couple of policies on a group if whether or not you're in group insurance or individual coverage. You can find out everything on anybody. So when we watch TV, how many of you have seen a LifeLock commercial? Well, folks, LifeLock, the first thing they do, and listen to the next commercial, they start talking to you about credit card fraud. Well, first off, folks, if I steal Brad's credit card and I start making charges on Brad's credit card, is that identity theft? The answer is no. It's theft. That's it, not identity theft, it's just straight theft. How many of you have ever had your credit card company call you and say, did you do this? You say no, they reverse the charges, send you a new card, you have no legal liability on that. We don't even worry about it anymore, it happens so often, right? But folks, LifeLock wants you to give them $40 a month so they can monitor that for you. Why would I do that? Well, they also talk about if someone goes in and steals $10,000 out of Michelle's bank account, they say bank account takeover fraud. Is that identity theft or theft? And the answer is, it's just theft. There's a law out there for those of you taking notes called CIPA, the Consumer Information Protection Act. Do y'all realize that the Consumer Information Protection Act says if someone steals money out of my bank account, by law, the bank is putting that money back. Now, they can charge me $50, but they don't. They don't want it known that the account was hacked into. So they won't do that. But folks, let me ask you a question. Who's monitoring your medical information? You realize 48% of all reported identity theft last year in America was medical? People buying your insurance information online, and I'm going to show you how it's done, buying your insurance information and using that to buy prescription drugs. When did you know, Brad, if I use your insurance to buy prescription drugs for blood pressure medicine? Because remember, the 92% of identity theft starts with a change of address. I'm not going to send the bill to your home. I'm going to send it 2 miles away from you. It's going to stay in the same state, but move it away. 28% of identity theft reported last year, folks, was DMV. I'm going to show you where a lady in a Target parking lot was arrested and put in jail for 7 days because somebody stole her driver's information, was arrested, and failed to appear in court. They came after her. By the way, she lost her 2 kids. You're actually going to see the video in Aberdeen, Ohio. So, have I got you peaked? Curiosity peaked on identity theft. So it's more about, folks, the things that you're not monitoring. Passport is 11% of identity theft. People moving in and out of the country, why would I want your passport if I'm operating legally? So what's the odds? Why would I want your driver's license? If I have a driver's license, I don't need yours, right? But what if I've got a DWI and I don't have a driver's license anymore? Now, we always talk about identity theft being Social Security. Well, if you're a child, I would tell you worry about Social Security identity theft. But if you're not a child, I wouldn't worry too much about it because that's the target right now. Brad has a 4-year-old child. That Social Security number is a lot more valuable than money. Excuse me. Matter of fact, Michelle, what do you think it'd cost me right now to buy your Social Security number online? Wait, I didn't hear you.
You told us this at the January membership meeting.
Did I?
Remember. It wasn't
You
much.
didn't listen. You were eating.
I was eating. It wasn't much, like $2.
$2. Cut that in half.
$2.
Cut that in half.
50 cents.
Cut that in half.
Oh my gosh, 25 cents.
It's 19 cents, folks.
Wow.
Well, what do you think it cost me to buy Brad's son's Social Security number at 4 years old? About $62. If that child was under the age of 2, it cost me about $250. But it's all for sale. Anybody still interested? So when we talk about identity theft, all of these areas that I've already gone over, and please understand, in the legal industry, and I've worked with attorneys, my company has 6,900 law firms contracted nationwide. Well, in the legal industry, and we can argue it, but you're innocent until proven guilty. But in identity theft, it's you. It's your Social Security number, Michelle. Prove you didn't do it. Well, how many of you can, give me your name, ma'am? I always wait till I see him chew it and then I pick on it.
Jackie.
Jackie, that's my wife's name, so I can pick, I will not forget your name because that's the one that yells at me every day. So Jackie, prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt, you are who you say you are. Anybody in the room, can anybody in the room prove to me you are who you say you are? What would you show me? That's the number 2 form of identity theft.
I got nothing.
Because remember, this is when my client gets on the phone with me, I'm gonna say, listen, prove to me, I'm working with, matter of fact, a collection agency here in this town, you guys insure this, who gave me the contact of a dentist in Miami, Florida, who somebody stole his license number and is writing prescription drugs on this guy's license number. He's at risk right now of losing his entire livelihood. And you know, and so my question to him was, well, prove you're not in Orlando, Florida, you're in Miami. Well, you can show me a pay stub, show me something like that. People will tell me, well, I'll show you my birth certificate. Great, what year would you like to be born? I can do that on that computer right there. That's why they made me unplug it from everything and put it away. People say, well, give me a social security card. I can show you a social security card. How many do you want? I can even show you websites you can go buy social security cards that will have information on it that you want. So folks, how do thieves, and I want to walk you through a scenario here, how do thieves, first off, get your information? Because most Americans are pretty good about their identity. So I stayed last night at the Staybridge Hotel and Suites over on, is it Carolyn Avenue? Something like that. And give me your name, sir. Ryan. I went down to the computer in the business center. And I clicked on downloads. I showed this young man, give me your first name again. I'm terrible with names. In the very back.
Me?
Yep, no, behind you. One good. Tom, did this not scare you?
Yes.
This is on, what did I find on that computer? Paycheck stubs. What is this one right here?
Tax information.
W-2s. People went out to print. There's a full cancer diagnosis from Mavera Health on this computer that somebody was staying at the hotel and downloaded. There's all kinds of insurance information that people think you have to download it evidently to print it. And so they download and then they don't send it to the recycle bin. Folks, if you click on any of those, the tax, what if your employees sent their paycheck and their pay stub there? How much information do I even get about your business attached to that? What account is paying them? So folks, most people are careful, but how many of you have a copy machine in your office? You've ever had any of your information put through a copy machine? Well, what happens to that copy machine when you're done with it? Where does it go? Y'all are going to answer me no matter what I say at this point in time. I'm well aware of where you are. How many of you are aware that your copy machines have hard drives in them, just like your computers? And it scans and stores every image you've ever done on that machine. So this operation that was held, folks, this is one of 25 warehouses in the United States holding used copy machines. This one warehouse has 6,000 copiers in it. Then using software available free over the internet, they ran a scan on those hard drives. Now folks, the same day this operation happened, 2 shipping containers full of used copy machines were on their way to Argentina and Singapore. Why do Argentina and Singapore want our used copy machines? They're stealing your data off of it. So watch this video and then I'll show you how they use it. Hopefully it will work.
A warehouse in New Jersey filled with 6,000 used copy machines, ready to be sold, and almost every one of them holds a secret. That's it.
That's all right.
Nearly every digital copier built since 2002 contains one of these, a hard drive. Like the one on your personal computer, it stores an image of every document scanned, copied, or emailed by the machine. In the process, turning an office staple into a digital time bomb, packed with highly personal or sensitive data.
We would find as many as 20,000 documents on it.
If you're in the identity theft business, this has got to be some kind of powerful.
Social security numbers, birth certificates, bank records, income tax forms. That information, I think, would be very valuable.
John Johnson and Sacramento-based company Digital Copier Security developed software that can scrub all the data on hard drives. He's been trying to warn people about the potential risk with no luck.
Nobody wants to step up and say, we see the problem, we need to solve it.
So we went with Johnson into this warehouse, one of 25 across the country, to see how hard it would be to buy a used copier loaded with documents. Turns out, it's pretty easy. Johnson had picked 4 machines based on price and the number of pages printed. In less than 2 hours, the selections were packed and loaded onto a truck. The cost? About $300 each.
Come back.
Until we unpacked and plugged them in, we had no idea where the copiers came from or what we'd find. We didn't even have to wait for the first one to warm up.
We've got some documents here on the glass. This machine came from the city of Buffalo, New York, Police Sex Crimes Division. This machine has 249,000 copies on it, total copies.
249,000
It's also used
pieces of information.
It took Johnson about 30 minutes to pull the hard drives out of the copiers. Then, using a forensic software program available free on the internet, he ran a scan, downloading tens of thousands of documents in less than 12 hours. The results were stunning. From the sex crimes unit, detailed domestic violence complaints, and a list of wanted sex offenders. On a second machine from the Buffalo PD narcotics unit, we found a list of targets in a major drug ring. The third machine from a New York construction company spit out design plans for a building near Ground Zero in Manhattan. 95 pages of pay stubs with names, addresses, and social security numbers, and $40,000 in copied checks. But it wasn't until we hit print on the fourth machine from the New York insurance company that we obtained the most disturbing document. 300 pages of individual medical records, everything from drug prescriptions to blood test results to a cancer diagnosis, a potentially serious breach of federal privacy law.
We're talking about potentially ruining somebody's life where they could suffer serious social repercussion.
The day we visited that New Jersey warehouse, 2 shipping containers packed with used copiers were headed overseas, loaded with secrets, on their way to unknown buyers in Argentina and Singapore. Armin Katay, CBS News, New York.
So anybody still think I can't get your identity? Think about if you go to a car dealership and you want to test drive a car, what's the first thing they ask you for? Driver's license. And then they take that to a copy machine and make a copy of it. And then that machine goes overseas. So folks, how then does it get to the dark web? Well, they're buying this information and selling it online as fast as you can. Now, I'm going to show you another video that shows you how it's being used, but Jackie, prove to me again you are who you say you are. And you're going to hear a statement at the end of this video. And at the end of this video, Brad, it says, it's hard to prove you are you if there's another you. And that's the problem with identity theft. Prove to me you are you when there's another you. Now, the video I'm about to play for you folks shows you how to purchase information. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm just going to show you some of the website. Some of you are grabbing pens and paper as fast as you heck with this 9-to-5 job, right? We don't need employees anymore. So I'm going to show you where it is. Now, they're going to talk about Social Security numbers for as little as $1. Well, that was 2 years ago when Equifax data reach out. Now the market is so flooded with all that information, you can't even get near $1 for your Social Security number unless you're a child. So here you go.
Americans have been scrambling to protect their credit reports after Equifax revealed it had been hacked. That left 143 million vulnerable to identity theft. So what happens if these get hold of your personal information? Well, Anna Werner spoke with a victim.
He said, I'm the hacker that's in control of your email right now.
37-year-old IT specialist Art Danio's nightmare began when a hacker called him after breaking into his personal email.
He said, I have all of your information. I said, okay, it's my social security.
And he said the number,
I said, read it back to me.
and he was correct.
I didn't let him finish.
Danio hung up. A high-tech intruder then called again, leaving this voicemail demanding ransom.
Just saying you will not get your email address back. You need to contact me and keep me the amount of $300 via Bitcoin. I also have a social security number and a driving license from the back. I can basically pretend to be you right now. I am you.
I was terrified
Yeah, terrified because
there's why he wants them to come to the meeting. That made it real.
Because next he started getting text alerts, notifying him in real time as the hacker tried to change his passwords for his eBay profile, his Amazon account, then his bank account.
And it kind of felt like I was done for. He pretty much had control of everything he did online.
He doesn't know how his information was stolen, but for criminals, it can be all too easy.
This is the place that we would go to buy that kind of information.
Cybersecurity expert Sir Atman took us on a tour of the dark web,
So this one sells the credit card information.
where criminals sell hacked information like damage. Here, someone's selling 1,500 names along with social security numbers and dates of birth.
Then you can buy anything online.
On the dark web, social security numbers can go for as little as $1, a driver's license $20, a complete medical record with detailed information as much as $1,000.
How much does the Equifax have information help these guys here?
If I have somebody's social security number, address, etc., I can obtain all these documents with all the information that was leaked from Equifax.
Is there a real potential here that somebody gets the information and turns themselves into Anna Warner 2.0?
Yet, it's not easy to prove that you are you if there's another you.
It's not easy to prove you are you if there's another you. So folks, these are the current numbers right now. For a social security number, it's 19 cents to $62. That would be for Brad's son. I can get cashing victims check returns, W-4s, W-2s, $50, bank account anywhere up to $2,000. And by the way, that number is really high right now. You can buy most bank account information for about $65 online right now. So all of that information is being generated out there. So do you want to see a video of what happens when it hits you? Anybody not scared yet? So now let me show you what happens with real identity theft. And by the way, here is my litmus test. Anybody who says they're going to protect you from identity theft, you should ask, is this identity theft monitoring or credit monitoring? Because you don't need to pay anybody money to monitor your credit. You can do that for free. I get free credit reports per year from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, right? Under annualcreditreport.com, not Credit Karma. By the way, who owns Credit Karma? Equifax, the company that lost all of your information, and now they say, here's a free site, go out and give us more information, and people are doing it. I can go to Annual Credit Report and get a free credit report. We know that children, as I've already mentioned, are 51 times more likely to become a victim of identity theft, social security fraud, than adults are. Because Jackie's going to check her social security number. She's going to go buy a car or something. Brad, when are you going to check your child's social security number? You just don't. They're 4 years old. You don't need that social security number right now. So folks, we know it takes years to clean up that mess. So here's what happens. This is Aberdeen, Ohio. This young lady is our client now. Her name is Ashley. This is what happens when all of a sudden somebody's using your information. So if I shut this mic off when you play the video, will that help on your volume in the back of the room? Should we try that and then I'll turn it on when the video's over? Here you go.
Golden State. Woman spends a week in jail, told it is on a warrant for trafficking heroin.
Yeah, this morning she was let go, all charges dropped.
Just like that, Stefano DB Trantonio live in Aberdeen with this bizarre story. You'll see only right here on Fox 19 now. So what's up here?
Oh, Tricia and Rob, it is crazy. Ashley Foster just happened to be out of jail tonight. She was arrested last Thursday in the parking lot of the Target out on Beachmont. She spent 7 days in 2 different jails, only today to be let go and told all those charges are dropped.
I told them it was Ashley. They asked me to step out of the car. They said, do you know that you have a warrant out for your arrest? And I said, no, what did I do? And he said, for trafficking heroin. And I broke down in the parking lot on the ground crying. I was scared to death.
David Doherty with Hamilton County confirmed to me deputies did pick her up on a warrant April 11th, and all of her information matched.
They showed me the computer. They showed me everything that they had in front of them. It was my ID, my picture, my birthday, my social security number, but it was not my address.
Could her identity have been stolen by another Ashley Foster?
I said I didn't do anything. Like
Her 2 young boys were in the car.
My youngest is 8 weeks old yesterday. They wouldn't let me feed him, wouldn't let me change his diaper. I listened to him scream.
She was eventually booked into the Hamilton County Justice Center.
No one could tell me anything. Every single officer I talked to said, the warrant is not ours, the case is not ours, I can't tell you anything.
Moved to Brown County just 2 days ago.
The Brown County officer said, it's not my case, I can't tell you anything, but we're gonna take you to our jail. 7 days, 7 nights in jail before I could finally know why I was even there.
Admiralty Chief David Benjamin confirmed to me he interviewed Ashley this morning.
He just said, thank you for your time, he left.
Did he apologize?
No,
What are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna go get my kids back.
Ashley held it together to the very end. She's so upset. She actually has to meet with Child Protective Services tomorrow. She'll be interviewed to see if she is a fit mother since she's been arrested before she can have her boys back. Get this, she lost her high-paying job out of all this. Aberdeen police say, they can only say, it's an ongoing investigation, and they can offer no further comment tonight.
So folks, what did the police do wrong in that case? Answer is nothing. They had a warrant for arrest, right? Their job is not to determine guilt or innocence. What did Ashley do wrong? Nothing. She's a victim of identity theft. When would a DMV violation appear on a credit report? Never. It has nothing to do with it. So if your service is only monitoring your credit, when would they have told you that just happened? When would they tell you, hey, Brad, all of a sudden you have a warrant for your arrest? I was working with a large engineering firm here in this town. And you know who I'm talking about, it's the engineering firm. And one of the head of engineering had a warrant for his arrest for failure to appear in court on a DWI. And the guy kept looking at me and said, Mr. Wire, I didn't do it. And I said, I know. He goes, that's not me. And I said, yes, it is. He said, but I didn't do it. I said, I know. And he said, it's not me. I said, yes, it is. It's you. What do you think is going to happen if you go through a yellow light and the police officer pulls you over? You're going to jail. It took us about 3 days to get that off of his record. But folks, if you're not monitoring DMV, the number 2 form of identity theft, you will not pick up that form of identity theft. Now, this is one of my favorite slides here. No matter, guys, how cute your girlfriend is, her photo shouldn't be on your license with you, right? We call that a clue. You can actually see the car door frame, the guy's face here. Now, folks, that's all funny, except for this name does match that number that I partially removed. But it's not that guy's address. When will that guy know that there is now a felony on his driver's license? If you're not monitoring it, you wouldn't know. This case I personally worked on. This young lady had 81 jobs in 17 states with her social security number. 3 of those jobs were at the same meatpacking plant in Marshalltown, Iowa. Well, how do you fix that? If that happens to any of you or any of your employees, how do you fix that case? Anybody? We had to get her a new social security number. It's the only way to fix that. But what about all of her benefits? Brad, you're an insurance agent. What about all of her insurance tied to the old number? Health, life, car, dental, vision, Aflac, whatever she may have. What about all your everything tied to you? What about all your 401ks, your investments, your social security, your Medicare? What about everything tied to that old number? We'll work on that every month for the rest of her life on this one. Or how about this one here? This young lady was arrested because somebody purchased 1,700 prescription pain pills using her health insurance. It's a felony charge. Folks, how would, Michelle, right? How would you know if I went to the pharmacy before you and refilled your prescription? Until you go to try to refill it. And see, it's not the ones that you're refilling, it's the new ones that I get for you. I change your address on your insurance, how long before you know about it? Folks, that's identity theft. If you do a Google search, a gold Honda Civic in April of this past year on Interstate 80 had over 85 different people's prescriptions in the trunk on the way to Chicago to sell it when it was pulled over. And it would have never been pulled over if it wasn't speeding. So if you're going to commit a crime, don't make it double and start speeding down the road. Folks, that is identity theft. That is what we see on a daily basis. So our company, we've been around since 1972. I protect about 4.8 million people right now. We're signing a new membership about every 4 seconds. What does real identity theft protection look like? We have negotiated a special rate with the Home Builders Association for their clients. For an individual, I'll protect them for $8.95 a month. If you come to me outside of the Home Builders Association without Howell McDowell, that's $12.95 a month on my website. And by the way, we will not waive pre-existing. Many people sign up on my website, they call us and say, I have this problem going on. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Michelle, that's $895 for us to start that conversation with you. Because a licensed private investigator will shut it down, not to finish your case. That's what it costs you to start talking to us, is $895. We're real good at what we do. By the way, keep in perspective, if you have financial fraud and you call us, it takes us about 3 hours to shut that down. If you have medical fraud, it takes us an average of 7 months to shut that down. Put that in perspective because of HIPAA laws and everything that it cost us. We cover a family, that's the member and spouse or significant other guy. You have to make a choice, one or the other, not both. Again, one of my best ones, didn't go anywhere. And up to 10 children under the age of 18. If you have more than 10 kids, you need more help than I can give you. Start me. So folks, we provide through a mobile app or through a computer, we give them updates every 15 minutes. That thing will update. Our CEO of IDShield and IDShield, where our founder passed away, the new CEO, been with us about 7 years, is a little guy named Jeff Bell. If you heard me say the word little, I wouldn't have a job today. But a guy named Jeff Bell, he was the vice president of Microsoft before he joined us. Anybody ever heard of the game called Xbox? Guess who developed it? The guy I'm going to show you all the technology. Or Guitar Hero, the same thing, Mr. Jeff Bell. So every single month, our clients on it, when they log into that button, and you can have it on your mobile app as an app, it will give them their current credit score. You can only have a credit score of 850. That's a perfect score. You're never going to get it. I'm above Howard still. I'm at 831 this month. He's at 827, I think was the last one. And if you get above an 831, I won't work with you. I got to be the #1 guy on that. So we'll show them their current credit. The average credit score in America, by the way, is 651. That's not a good score. It's not terrible, but it's not a good score. We'll walk your clients through or your employees through and show them how to help that. Anything within 15 minutes, and in that packet of information, I think on page 6, it tells you we monitor 76 billion websites every second of every day looking for your information. Within 15 minutes of us finding it, there will be an alert going to your mobile device saying, Michelle, did you just do this? If you did, it disappears. If you didn't, call us toll free. And we will shut it down. We are monitoring, folks, your credit scores, passports, driver's license, medical, email, social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you kids are doing on all that social media out there. Your bank accounts, the dark web, addresses. We are now including your 401ks in that program that we are monitoring for you at it's covered 100%. You provide us as much information as you want. I was working with an insurance, and when Brad picked me up today, yesterday morning and today, working with an insurance agency. Folks, you would be shocked under email addresses how many of your employees that they have a corporate email and they're using the exact same password for your corporate email account that they do for their own personal. And you know how many times yesterday and today I told them if we showed that their password had been hacked? Well, if we hack their personal account, but it's the same email and the same password, what else are we getting from them? We're hacking into their corporate email at the same, not we, the identity thieves are hacking into it at the exact same time. Folks, we will monitor everything, and with a licensed private investigator, we guarantee we will shut it down. Please understand, if anybody ever tells you they can prevent identity theft, they're lying to you. I can't stop what Target does. I can't stop what Unity Point in Sioux City, Iowa did here a few months ago, lost 1.4 million clients. I can't stop that. How do I stop all the copy machines going to Singapore and Argentina? But I can guarantee you with a private licensed investigator, we will shut it down with no copay, no deductible, and no out-of-pocket expense to our customer, period, if they come to us in a non-group setting, if they come to us before the event. Our contract with the Home Builders Association and through Howell McDowell, even if they come to us with a pre-X, we will now cover them 100%. So that $895 is gone. There will never be an out-of-pocket expense to your employee at any point in time. If it is medical, I will ask for a power of attorney. I cannot, because of HIPAA law, touch anything without a power of attorney to do that. That's a limited power of attorney to 90 days at a time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it's an emergency, something happened, you push that button, we will have somebody work on your case immediately. And by the way, when it says dedicated one-on-one, the investigator that starts on our client's case stays on that case until that is 100% resolved. Even to follow up 4 months later and then 6 months out to make sure that everything is staying off of that report and wherever we found that information for them. The same investigator stays on that case. I love Apple products. My only pet peeve with Apple is every time I call in, I got to start explaining something all over again because I don't know who I'm going to talk to. We keep the same investigator on it for the entire case. We then added, and we just did this in June of this year, a $1 million protection policy. Our service is unlimited. The $1 million protection policy, if someone hacks into your 401k and steals money out that we cannot get back, we have an insurance policy that you can lay claim and get your money recovered. Now, it won't help you for what just happened in the stock market the last 2 weeks, right? It has to be actual theft of that. Same way if they hack into your bank account and we can't get it shut down and the bank won't replace that money, which they will, but if they won't, there's our insurance policy on that. Our contract says we will do whatever it takes as long as it takes to restore your identity, 100%. Again, folks, no copay, no deductible, no out of pocket. That monthly fee is guaranteed 100%, and you've had our service for how long, Brad?
4 years.
4 years now, and we've never charged him an additional dollar. Those premiums locked in that packet there, once a client signs in with us, that rate is locked for life. It can never increase on you as long as you don't cancel that membership. If you cancel it, within 45 days, that premium will increase if you try to join us again. That is what we do. So this is what the website looks like. You can do all of this on a mobile also. Folks, we come over here on a website and we ask our client, give us as much information as you're comfortable with us so we can proactively monitor your information. Now remember how I talked in the very beginning about passive or mosaic phishing? I don't have to, Michelle, put the last 4 of your social security number, and we don't on that server. We're pinging the first 5. When they come back to us in the right order, offline, it will then match into another server that says, yes, that does match her. And we, within 15 minutes, an alert goes to your mobile device or your computer saying, did you just do this? You'll notice in the back of that packet, our security standard. In 48 years, we've never been hacked. Because quite frankly, we're not putting stuff where you're looking for it. It's not online. So we take the known and find the unknown. I think I told the story at your guys' luncheon, how we were driving down the interstate. Did I tell you all that story? Yeah. That is one of my son, and he knows Bradley really, really well. He's in town doing enrollment right now on the other side of town. Some of you weren't at that meeting. My son hates it. If my son sees me grab my iPad and say, Brad, let's have fun, he'll actually hit the brake down and pull over. He just won't drive it. We were in Des Moines, Iowa here, been, I don't know, several months, maybe a year or so, time flies. And a guy went around my son on Interstate 80 out of construction and flipped my son off. Saying, hey, you're number one in my life. And so that's what I took from it anyway. And so I said, Bradley, just follow this individual. We'll call him that for this mixed group. Just follow this individual. Folks, within 4 miles, I took out my iPad, put in the license plate number on his car, and I had his cell number. And I called him. And you all have heard the story. I said, don't you ever flip me off again when he answered his phone. And I hung up. A few seconds later, he calls me, who is this? And I said, Bradley, wave at him. And I said, look in your rear view mirror. And he took off. Folks, you can find, if you really knew identity theft, if I watch this young man here get in his car, I can take the license plate on his car, and in a few seconds go to Google Maps and tell you who's at your house right now. Folks, you can get anything on anybody in seconds. You can buy most people's entire life for about 54 cents legally. I have an investigator, I can go to LexisNexis and buy anything on any of you. It costs me about 54 cents to buy all of it. It's then how you turn around and use the information that makes it illegal. So they enter in this. I'm going to show you the last, and I do this for a living, folks. You would think, oh, you're not going to get me, right? This is my mobile device. It shows you the IDShield. It says I have one alert. So I thought, okay, I clicked on the link. There's my credit score at that time. This was, it'll show you here in a few minutes. That was on August the 8th of 2019. My credit score was way down to 826. So folks, I click on it and it says, okay, there it is. And it says I have a new account with an account balance of $160,000 in my name from Federation Bank in Brighton, Iowa. Well, folks, I live 12 miles from Brighton, Iowa. Anybody know where Wayland, Iowa is? Anybody ever heard of it? Anybody know where Washington, Iowa is? You know where the Amish live. There's a red-headed Walker family right in the middle of all of that. That's where we live. Now, normally if I get an alert, I call my wife and say, Jackie, did we just do this? She's a CPA, been a CPA for over 30 years. I didn't have to call Jackie and say, did we just get a loan for $160,000? I didn't know that. I called in, folks. Federation Bank, though, is my bank. Folks, please understand, Washington, Iowa is a town of less than 7,000 people. They know me. And I called Teresa and said, Teresa, you just gave out a loan, and she didn't do it, but I said, your bank just gave a loan in my name for $160,000. And she said, we did what? They gave that loan, folks, and the person never walked in the bank and got that loan. Never entered the bank. We had that shut down in about 3 hours. Now, how long would it have taken me to know, and I have a loan for $160,000 that's going to Brighton, Iowa? Within 3 hours, I had that within 15 minutes, and within 3 hours, the account was shut down. No copay, no deductible. Anybody ever heard of Kim Commando? We have her highest rating. One guy has heard of Kim, All Things Digital, the goddess. Yeah, she's probably on your guys' radio station or something. We have her #1 rating. We just won the Cybersecurity Award for 2020. And folks, All Things Benefit, Brad, did you get this from Howard? All Things Benefits released its annual top 20 carriers in the nation. And only 3 of those carriers, if you look up here, have received that award 2 years consecutive, and we are one of them. We do what we say, and as Brad will tell you, what we say we do. There is, and you have this in your packet, there's our physical security. I have over 900 total employees. Folks, if one of my employees even carries a cell phone into the work area with them, they're fired on the spot. Security is all we do. There is what it takes to be one of our licensed investigators. Our investigators have been with us an average of 14 years. We have over 1,000 licensed private investigators. There is your price sheet. I do want to mention to you, Howell pays for this. Many of the groups that we work with pay for their employees. There is in your packet the IRS ruling 2016-2. Anybody aware you just can't sleep some night and you read IRS rulings? IRS ruling 2016-2, I think it's on the 3rd to last page in your packet, says any owner or business that pays for identity theft protection for their employees, it's a 100%, that page right there, it's a 100% tax write-off to the business because of the threat of identity theft. At the end of the year, folks, you're going to give the money to the IRS or to your employees. Who cares more about your business? 100% tax write-off. Any questions about any part?
I'm sorry for taking that loan out for $160,000, but you stalked me when I passed you with my pickup, so I thought I'd get back at you.
You had to get even, didn't you? Brad knows my son real well, so if he hears me say, well, let's have fun, he knows what's going on.
So how do you differ between LifeLock and all the advertising and everything you do?
So LifeLock is literally a credit monitoring product. And by the way, don't take my word for anything. The litmus test on identity theft protection. If you're looking at any product and they only ask for your social security number, what can they monitor? Your credit. If they don't ask for your medical numbers, if they don't ask for your driver's license and passport, those 3 were 82% of identity theft reported to the Federal Trade Commission, not us, the Federal Trade Commission last year. And we are right now still the only product that asks for that information. We're monitoring everything. Yes, sir.
So, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I get this robocall. And it's Social Security calling saying that my number's been locked and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to push 1 and get a hold of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, that happens, is that something that your company's gonna see and say, there's something going on here? Or
what we'll do is we'll send you an alert on your robocalls because you're entering in 10 telephone numbers. We'll tell you, start expecting a lot of robocalls. There is legislation that hopefully in January will become law that makes it illegal for robo companies to call you. By the way, legislators exempted themselves from that, so they can still robocall you. But all of these other companies by law will have to stop doing it. So, but the thing is awareness. When you get that thing, hang up. The Social Security Administration is never going to call you. They will mail you a letter, but they will never call you. It's the same way, folks. My wife being an accountant, right now the biggest issue they have is tax fraud. How many of you pay taxes I mean, we all pay taxes, but I have to write a check on April 15th. You realize you are the target now for tax fraud? It used to be people who got refunds was the target. Now the people who pay taxes by April 15th, you're the target. Because if you have to pay extra money, how many of you are paying that money on January 1? Just because you want to get rid of it. No, you're waiting until as long as possible, right? So the thieves will take your tax information, file a refund for you, get a refund that you're unaware of, and then in April 15th, you pay a refund, and now they want that money back also. You're the #1 target when it comes to tax fraud. It's only happened to me twice. So if anybody had tax fraud with them, you get that 5-digit number from the IRS that you have to feel good because you realize that in January of this year, that account was hacked, so your 5-digit number is worthless now.
Oh.
Yeah. So my wife has to put our 5-digit number or nothing happens. Well, that account's now been hacked. Any other questions? Other than the guy who stole $160,000 from me.
What's considered like pre-existing? So let's say somebody signs up, they enter their information, all of a sudden there's information out there already. Is that considered pre-existing?
We're gonna find information on you. Trust me, on everybody. We're gonna track, as soon as you turn on your system and start updating it, it's gonna start pinging like crazy because we're searching all these dark webs. So a pre-existing for us is any action that causes further action. If you come to us from an employer standpoint, don't worry about it. There's no pre-ex clause. We cover everything. And by the way, 1 in every 15 people that come to us, we find something that we actually have to get an investigator on to shut down. So 1 in every 15. But if you're, don't go to our website and buy because you're gonna have a pre-ex clause. And otherwise, we have to, folks. Otherwise, when's somebody gonna buy our product? After something happened, they're gonna say, oh, I need you now. Well, we'd be broke if we did that.
Yeah, what if I don't know I need you yet? Like what if
We will advise you on what you can go do. But most people that we start advising on how to fix it, whether it's medical or DMV, will come back and say how much it costs to hire you. Because to get the left hand to do what you're telling the right hand is really hard to do without subpoenas and court orders. You had another question?
Does it improve your credit score by being on one of these?
Not necessarily, because we have people who will still go through the airport and get credit cards. You know, credit consolidation. I talked to a person in the last, that went in and did a credit consolidation. Well, that didn't improve the credit score, right? And it didn't change the habits that got them in trouble. We're just telling you where it's at, and as Brad will tell you on your computer, we'll even give you a graph chart to show you what you're doing. On our system, we'll tell you the top 3 things determining your current credit score. And most people, folks, it's income to debt, right? So think about, you have a credit card. The average person, by the way, has 9 credit cards in their account file. 9. How many of those cards do you think they're actually using? 2, maybe 3. But folks, if I have a credit card that has a $5,000 limit on it, and even if I'm not using it, is that still considered debt? It is. So if you go and just get rid of 5 cards that you're not using, what did you just do to income to debt? Payment history is a big thing. People will pay a credit card and they pay it late, or they'll carry a balance over every month. That's one of the worst things you can do. I have a credit card, but it's paid off every month. You carry that balance over, you're hurting yourself. To get into the 820s, 825s, I pay my insurance annually, not monthly, so I don't have those monthly bills coming. It's just different things you start changing in your life. Yes, sir.
So a business EIN versus a social security number, now that's basically your business credit as opposed to social security is a personal credit line, so to speak.
But your business cards are still tied to your social security number, even though they may have your EIN, your company, it's still tied to an individual in that company. We're developing a product right now that will protect a business but it's, your information is tied to somebody in that business.
Okay.
An EIN is nothing more than really just how you're gonna pay the IRS.
Okay. Let's say I do 15 to 25 vendors yearly. I send all my information to online
Mhm.
so that they have it on file. So
Mhm.
that's kind of uneasy.
Yeah. You could live scared about it. With what I showed you on the copier, I don't care how secure you are, they've got you. If somebody got online right now with any device, have you got a cell phone that's online? Go to zabasearch.com and put in your first and last name and hit enter.
What's the name of it?
ZABA.
Okay.
Search, SEARCH.com. Did it pull up? And then put in your first and last name and the state you live in. And see how much information, all your relatives, your year you were born.
What was the website again?
Zaba, Z-A-B-A, search, S-E-A-R-C-H.
Free people search, that's basically what it is.
Yep. You can go to Truth Finder, People Finder, ID Finder. I mean, this is just, Zaba search is an easy one to point out to people. Your first name, and then the state you live in. You realize that you'll see a logo there for Intellius, I-N-T-E-L-L-I-U-S pop up. That allows me to buy all of your information in the next 5 minutes with just your first and last name. I can have your credit report on my desk. Costs me, I think it's $9.95 a month for unlimited searches.
Got the cell phone number there and address and everything.
Got you, didn't it? Y'all like how much information's out there? Then they'll ask you on another page for $3, they'll remove you from that listing. What do you think they remove you from? Your credit card. Yes.
So I had an email notice. I'm a LifeLock member, been for a long time. It says your AOL account's on the dark web.
Mhm.
What do we do about that? I don't want to close that account or
So
anything.
you do, no, but what it should tell you is, did it list what, was it like a clear text? Was it IT A334? It should tell you what dark website. Clear text is the normal one that I see
Is
when
that
it comes
right?
to email.
Okay,
But did it tell you, was it your username or your password?
I just deleted it. I thought it was
So if
another-
it's your password, go change it. But we're gonna send, Brad, how often do you get a thing about your email? And we send, go change your password. We'll tell you your username was found or your password, go change your password.
That's all I did. I just changed my
Change
password.
password.
I didn't want to click on anything because I thought it was another
Most
scam.
people ignore it is the problem. We sent out, you remember what the number was, like 16 million texts last year alerts to our clients. So, yeah, but I'm not gonna change my email because that's how my clients know how to get a hold of me. I'm changing passwords, it seems like about every 3 weeks now, because it'll be found.
I've always heard passwords should have 15 numbers or digits.
Special character, capital letter, special character, and numeric.
I was at another cyber show and the guy says, I don't care what it is. If it's 12 or under, I got it.
Literally, guys, we have, Jack Goldenberg is head of our IT department. He worked for Mercer Corporation for years. That guy can make a computer walk on the table. I mean, he's scary what he can do with a computer. But everything we do right now is 256-bit military grade encryption, including those sites that I showed you. Here by January, we'll be at 418 military encryption. And that's what he still said, if you want it, if you put it where they get it, they're gonna get it. That's why it's not online. It's not on a server you can access. We internally have to do that. So. But again, that's a thief just trying. How many of you have heard of the Black Hat Club? In Vegas, they just did a convention and a guy stood up in convention, and there's a video out on YouTube. You ought to Google this, called the Black Hat Club. And this guy on stage in Vegas stood up and said, we've made unhackable technology. And he was booed and laughed off the stage. I mean, literally had to leave the stage because everybody thought he was such an idiot. So no matter what you do, somebody can get you. That's why I always tell my client, we've never been hacked. I don't think we ever will be, but I'm not going to make you that guarantee. But I can't prevent identity theft. It's just how quick do you want to be notified that it's going on. And that's what we do. It's how proactive you want us to be.
So how many cases do you have where somebody had transaction where they sold a house online through a realtor, through a banker. And I've heard about this case and they lost $500,000. And they sued everybody that touched that.
Yeah, if you're gonna file a
Sale of
lawsuit, you're
house.
gonna put everybody on it.
It all disappeared, so.
Jack Miller, which used to be the vice president of Whole Walk McDowell, gave us permission. Any of you guys know Jack Miller? Was the vice president of Whole Walk before he retired, gave us permission to use his name. He was a typical guy that said, I don't need identity theft protection. Well, then Whole Walk paid for it. We turned it on, we went into Jack Miller's, and you tell him if I'm lying. We went into Jack Miller's office, my son did, set up his account and found out he owned a $325,000 home in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. All the utilities and everything, and he had 4 Shields cards going on, and he only was supposed to have 1. He became a believer real quick. And fortunately, the company paid for it, so there was no pre-X. We shut it all down for him.
So what happens after that? Do they go after those people? Or is there
You try.
How do you go and physically knock on that door and find out?
We don't want you anywhere near that location. People will, that's the number one they're gonna, especially if it's children, people say, will you tell me who did it? Oh, no, I can't do that. But for us to try to get the police in Orlando, Florida, I'm working with the dentist right now in Orlando, Florida to go, I know where they live, who's doing it.
That's what I'm saying. Are we
don't pay taxes.
chasing those people or are we
Not
just
usually, they don't.
let them go and just
Usually
stop?
we don't. Our company will do everything we can. We'll notify the police and everything, but you're not paying tax. They don't care. Try to go file a police report, folks, and see how hard that is to even do for identity theft. So, most of them, they're going, well, what do you want us to do? We're not equipped to handle this. So,
Really similar to cyber.
it is. It's just, and the first thing the police are gonna ask me to do for you is prove they're not the right person and you're not. All I know is you're my client. I can shut it down, but I can't force them to be arrested. The biggest one that we did have you guys know of Viridian Community Credit Union? You ever heard that name? Headquartered in Cedar Falls, Iowa. We did get the senior loan officer arrested here about 4 months ago for selling people's personal information. So she was arrested. And people try to stereotype who's gonna steal your identity. This lady had a great job. But somebody offered her a lot more money. Well, folks, listen, we've gone right at our time limit. Thank you very much. Brad will follow up if you're interested in looking at our service. We'll come in, I'll come back. I'm back in April. We'll make a presentation to you or whoever you need to see how you want to move forward or not at all.
There's information out there on the HBA website as well.
So make sure you fill out the evaluation. Remember, tall, dark, and handsome. Slightly delusional. Thank you.